So we got 2 weeks, and this is debatable, but on whether or not we add slave-free trade. But I really think in the next 2 weeks we need to definitely work on what we have and improve it. I feel like that's
necessary.
It's worth the investment, especially since we're likely going to use a lot of it anyway in the future. What we have right now is a system of donors and projects. We don't have any in the middle yet, but we're always going to have donors and projects. So might as well just add the function we need for the year. I mean, the little Trello cards are pretty small, and I guess we can debate this, right? And then, honestly, there's the other subdivides is really till August 1st. Unfortunately, the big events happening is Burning Man, and that takes me out of the game for at least 3 weeks. Like where I'm, man, if I can get 2 hours a day, that'll be awesome. But that's pretty much all I can commit to, and actually during the burn, it's going to be worse. So this is August 1st, at least for me. I mean, I hope that we have like a good support structure by then, and that's something we're going to talk about for getting prepared for August. But there's going to be a major decline in my action starting the 1st, and then really from.
But it's not only you.
Yeah, exactly. It's me. Well, for me especially because I'm organizing this Burning Man camp, and I want to use our DAP to do it. Okay, so it's going to be a campaign. We'll get there too. But starting on the 10th, I'm 2 hours a day, and that's it. And so that's
For how long?
Until September. Yeah, well, unfortunately, this is just not, the burn doesn't end when, it's like the DAP. It ended for everybody else, but my life sucks. So, probably the 8th, September 8th, I'll be free. I'll be back to being full-time. So that's a major chunk. That's a month, right? So, maybe
from August 1st to September 8th.
We'll just say the 10th. And then from September 8th to DevCon. Right? These are kind of the big things. So what is this? This is actually 2 weeks from now. We can just say June 23rd. To August 10th. Okay, so those are kind of the big 3 groups. And I think we can get a lot done on a lot of things. But I'm curious, like these next 2 weeks, I think we're going to need to focus on adapt, focus on hiring, which we'll get involved with.
I would like to get to a specific activity that we need to accomplish in the next 2 weeks. Like when you say focus on the lab, on the lab is then
Sure.
Trello faces, on the cards. Those are the cards need to be assigned or taken, committed.
Yeah, I don't want to make the Trello cards. We don't have enough time to do that. There's a lot of details in all this, and I only have an hour and a half to get to these other parts. So I want to stay higher level than the Trello cards. At least for this talk up here, and then afterwards we can go into Trello cards. But I want to kind of be taking big pieces, and maybe hiring doesn't fit in the 2 weeks, so we move it to here, right? So like this is my strategy at least. So
is it possible that you also reflect there how we want to create this like short-term, medium-term, and long-term, or this is only for you?
This is the reflection of, right?
Yeah, exactly.
This is the new short-term, medium-term, long-term.
Yeah.
For.
Yeah, exactly. And the details you can throw down, but this is us brainstorming. Like I'm not saying this is what we're doing. I'm trying to get us started so we can have a discussion. Yeah. We can move little pieces like it. It'd be even better if we had post-it notes, but
I do.
Is this post-it notes?
Yes.
Okay. Look at that. That's perfect. Okay, so
with a mark.
So you got DAP.
Yes, perfect. I should write it for you.
Sure.
You tell me what you write about.
Hiring.
Yeah.
So we have hiring. What else do we need to do in the next 2 weeks?
So what means that?
DAP is the Trello cards,
Decentralized.
like getting our
Yeah, but what's the milestone for those?
they're on Trello. It's getting our minimum lovable DAP.
It's a kind of bug fixing and functionality fixing.
Yeah, the short-term fixes. Maybe it should be
So
short-term.
it's a campaign.
Here, I'll put it.
Yeah, short.
Campaign in Trello style.
Yeah, just getting.
Is that?
It's only just getting the DAP, the fixes that we see need to be done so that it's not like horrible to use. Because right now the DAP is horrible to use, and I just want it minimally lovable. So there are specific things on Trello that says this is like 6 hours of work, right? And I'm talking about that 6 hours of work. And maybe some bonuses if we can. But what else do you guys? Is there anything else you guys can think of that we need in the next 2
In
weeks?
the next 2 weeks, I think we need to start.
We need to make a document about
Documentation.
things in a clear way.
Okay, documentation.
With the specification of the system.
Okay. Anything else? We need to start pushing for testing the vault.
Testing the vault.
Yeah.
Like to finish the testing of the vault.
We need to start raising money to test the vault. But
I will finish. I can finish the test.
well, the
So
thing is,
I'm going and make a pull record.
well, no, but the thing is, we're not testing the vault controller anymore. So really, it's more like this is more like deciding about like pretty much it's about like, hey, let's get Jordy's node thing tested and then implement that to work with the vault and build that thing. I mean, this is likely to be moved over here, okay? But like, this is something that came to my mind. Is there anything else that is coming to anyone else's mind?
Yeah, we wanted to slim down the rows, but it's probably in the mid. So I don't know what
I
makes
think that
sense.
should be done right away.
It should be done right away, but it's like an ongoing discussion.
Slim down the
roles, like look again at the role.
okay, design overall like design. It kind of goes documentation, but like overall design. Maybe I can give this to.
Yeah.
Well, but you have 2 jobs. Like some people don't have any
I
jobs.
can do that.
What else? Anybody else? Jordy, you look like you have a lot to say.
It looks like you're gonna burst if you don't say it.
I'm scared of testing the vault because it can be something that could be very good, or it can be something that can be very bad. And I'm scared also in the that fixes. But that's a discussion of later. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like.
Well, what in your dream world would we be focusing on?
I'm worried. So I want that if we do an external collaboration with somebody else, be aligned with our goal. Okay, so we have our priority must be our goal. If collaborating with somebody else is going to help us, good. If collaborating with somebody else is gonna, it's gonna slow down, it's gonna, problems. But That's
So maybe we need one for collaboration.
no. The thing is that it's not
Maybe they can take this task from you.
Griff.
Collaboration.
It's not about
Yeah.
collaborating or not collaborating. It's
Yeah.
about the way of collaborating and what we are going to get on that collaboration, and we are going to lose for what we are going to earn collaborating, and what we are going to lose for not collaborating by collaborating. Okay. So the decision of external collaboration for me needs to be, because it can really hurt the project.
Yeah.
In things. So these decisions of external collaborations, I think needs any external collaboration. And I'm not saying a specific one. Any external collaboration can have big implications in the project, and the decisions need to be taken knowing exactly what are those implications.
Okay.
Okay, that's the only thing that I want to say. And sometimes, sometimes just recycling. We change it a little bit the model. Okay, in that because we're evolution. Okay, and sometimes this means that we need to make some sacrifices. Okay, and some sacrifices, maybe we did something that was wrong, and but it's much more worthy. It's just forget about that. Try to do a lot of things to justify the work that they made before. Okay, so it's you need to sacrifice sometimes and focus in what. And
however,
and it's worthy.
And I feel like you're specifically talking about our DAP, right?
That probably if it's a 6 hours stuff, for me it's not not relevant. Okay, it's the thing is that it's not about finishing a 6 hours work. This is a day of work, or maybe if it's 1 week of work. So for me it's not as much relevant as it is. It's the implications that if you want to use that outside yourself, this is going to be much more than 6 hours. You have to teach it, you have to explain, you have to write the documentation, so it's going to work, people is going to ask you have to support, it's not 6 hours.
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
So it's like, my worry is not about the 6 hours, the something, it's not. No, it's a minor thing.
Yeah.
Okay?
Can we get onboarding external parties, OJ? Onboarding charities, I guess we'll call it, or onboarding projects. Okay. What else is on our short-term to-do list?
Well, for me, this documentation, processing, it should be split a little bit more, different tasks. Okay, so at the end will be a document, but this document is the technical part, the marketing part.
So that's white paper?
Yeah, if you won't call it white paper, but I don't know. I don't like white paper because white paper is for academic paper. Okay,
it's pink paper.
It's just it's just pink paper. Okay, great. But anyway, this document, or if you want this specification, this is what we are going to build. Okay, and what we're going to build and what we're going to do it from the technical side, and but from the growth side. We need to include the marketing, we need to include the finance part, the financial part, how we are going to work. There's a lot of things we need to.
The financial part. So deciding financial incentivizations.
Yeah. What I need to know is it's about the scope of the development.
Yeah, this is just one part.
So this is, I think, it's the main thing for all developers. So if you don't know that, it's just we get started because all things we are doing, we don't know if we have some kind of
scope
utility or not.
Well, I guess I would call it like roadmap.
This roadmap, if you want, this roadmap, of course, includes the product part, what we're going to build, and absolutely we're starting to develop. But it's going to include also other things.
How about deliverables?
Deliverables on what?
Deliverables after 2 weeks, deliverables by August 10th, deliverables by DevCon. What else needs to be on our roadmap? Is scope different than deliverables?
I don't think the word scope means
Nothing.
means nothing.
Yeah.
Deliverables.
Deliverables is the best word because it's the same thing as scope, but actually something.
Yeah.
But deliverables, no, each yellow paper will have its own deliverable. If it's a DAP, the DAP will be the deliverable will be the DAP done.
Deliverables is the roadmap, is the scope, is the
Yeah, but each other document will have its own deliverable.
yeah.
So just
So it's like this is the deliverables is what we're doing, kind of.
yeah.
The
Well,
higher
we will
levels,
have
but-
deliverables, we will have
Yeah.
deliverables all which
Yeah.
but we start.
It's okay. So.
But that's good, you know. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
better to.
What else? What else is in our short-term goal list?
I think it's very much at the end.
I think the website.
Website,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, so I can put that in there.
That's gotta be 2 weeks for sure.
Yeah.
More. Okay. What were you gonna say about longer term?
Like some sort of, I don't know if you'll call it nowadays, PR or like,
Yeah.
you know, I only mention it because I imagine you probably want to get some resources to handle PR, like you got communication person or
Yeah.
stuff.
Media strategy.
Yeah, media strategy, exactly. I don't know. In our company, we have a communications director. She's awesome. She
Communication
handles
will
all
be,
that stuff for us.
you know,
But
it will cover
it's
that.
definitely long term. So I don't want to distract from.
No, put it. We'll put it.
But that's
if it's here,
I
put it
thought
up
that
there.
that could be part
That's
of
the
the
next-
hiring.
I'm gonna call it PR, even though it's communications like monitor.
Sure.
I mean, like it's probably like planning in the mid and like really coming to execution in the last one, building up to.
You mean for the PR?
Yeah, because it has to build. First, we need a strategy, and then
I think
we have to
that's
execute the
really
strategy
meant to
before we do
be
something.
A communication strategy, and then we find the resources that actually can work on it.
They want communication
Start
strategy instead.
communication strategy.
Yeah, communication strategy.
And what else? What about a
Branding.
branding?
And it's kind of under communication strategy, but
But also that goes on
Yeah,
the
but let's
website.
keep it separate.
it goes. It touches on a lot of things. So I think solidifying branding.
You want branding?
Yeah. Okay, what else do we got? You could put on. I guess where's the vault testing? Let's go smart contracts testing. It's a little more. It's a little.
Is that like an
Smart
audit?
contract testing.
Yeah.
Audit or?
No, this is, and we know we all have a milestone about using Git with Burning Man.
Well, so that would be kind of being onboarding projects. So specifically, there's some projects like I'll just start these ones over here
Yeah.
that I know that we're gonna do. We're gonna do Burning Man group. Whether you guys want me to use the software or not, I'm going to.
Yeah, and which functionalities do you want?
I need the projects. I need
What is that?
these. I just need the short-term DAP fixes.
And
That's all
use
I
that,
need. Yep.
that what is developed in next 2 weeks,
Yep.
it will use the 1st of August. Exactly the same functionalities.
Burning group.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I need. That's all I need.
Are you going to use it or is somebody else going to use it?
I'm gonna use it, and other people will see it there.
Okay, the other people will just see the page.
There might be 3 or 4 other people that I work with that will need
But
to
it's your
do it,
project.
but I will.
It's
I
not
will
somebody
be.
else's project. It's
I
your
will be the
project.
only person submitting miles.
Okay, it's your project. You have been using in the with for Giveth, and
Yeah.
besides Giveth, you're going to use it.
The pilot. No?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
for me
Okay.
that I'm comfortable in that. If
Okay.
that you are responsible for that. The problem is you want to sell that project. That means you want to
Yeah.
let somebody else use it.
So testing is okay for 1st of August also.
Vault, fundraiser, vault funds. I don't know. Vault audits, I guess.
Yeah, but at least release onboarding projects for this project.
What?
They don't put onboarding projects. I put this Burning Man.
Burning Man group.
Yeah, but not so replace the sticker. Not onboarding.
Oh, you want it on here?
Not onboarding projects in the second column. Yeah, just change for this specific project.
Oh, okay.
Not a generic onboarding project.
So we'll say onboarding external projects
No, but it's
and
not.
onboarding internal projects. Will that work?
No, but we are doing more things.
Can we
We're,
do
we're adding more
onboarding
projects.
internal?
We're
Yeah.
adding more projects there.
What?
So, this is a roadmap. So it's the things we are going to do. So this is it's an abstract thing that we don't know what's that. So
I'm sorry, man. Say it one more time.
so I want to see here. I prefer to see here more specific things. So onboarding external projects. It's a concept. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's nothing.
You want names?
It means getting projects, getting charities, onboarding charities is what he means.
Yeah.
Is that not specific?
Yeah, but it's not using the
Onboarding
project.
external
No.
projects
No.
to our DAO. Maybe this goes here. Like, this is what we're going to debate.
Okay.
So I want to keep it high level so we can move these cards around. And then some on our to-do list will be to build Trellos for this,
Yeah.
but not here because we don't have time for that. Like, there's too many things. So onboarding internal projects, maybe that's here. I'm not sure, but it's a thing. And the main internal projects are Burning Man Group, Trello, Vault, and I guess Slave Free Trade.
Vault what?
The Vault audits.
Vault audit. And which one? Slave.
It's kind of a hybrid there. But I guess that's our external project. I can't think of any other big ones. I mean, technically, this hackathon might end up having its own campus project.
What about this stuff with the status?
Yeah,
hackathon. Yeah.
Is there any other internal projects that we might want to throw on? I mean, I guess the website is going to be one. I mean, technically, a lot of these are going to be. Some of them might not be projects, but I'll just not do it.
I think that's good.
Yeah. What else? Other things more short term, and then we'll move to the longer term. Okay, moving to longer term. What longer term things do we need?
I think that when we have the white paper, in the white paper should be included what's going to be doing
Pink paper.
It's pink.
pink paper. Yeah. So the short term should be this pink paper, and in this pink paper should include what's going to do from that 2 weeks on.
Yeah.
Because depending what we are going to do, the task is going to be ones or the others.
Yeah.
But the pink paper needs to be defined, and I think that I believe that the focus in the next week or next 2 weeks should be write this pink paper.
I'm going to say pink paper outline. Because the pink paper is going to be too much it's more than a 2-week task. It can't,
Sure.
it can't, even if we started now, it couldn't
But
be
also,
finished.
the website will be more than 2 weeks. It's not going to be ready in 2 weeks.
But even the website,
No way. No, there's no way to,
No.
even just for the front landing page?
Look, there's a distinction. We made a website in less than 2 weeks that looks the way it looks right now.
Yeah.
So we want to make something that looks nice and that we can actually use.
Okay, so call this website design. What can we do in 2 weeks with the website? Hiring and
We can
Well, what
have really
we-
like an idea of what goes in there, but then it
Depends.
needs to be developed.
Why is it there? Why do you want to update the website?
so that we can. I mean, the main. Okay, so I guess this is what we should be saying. So
Sure.
what are the
Okay.
goals? The goals in the next
Okay.
after 2 weeks.
I absolutely think our website's crap right now.
After 2 weeks, the goal is fine.
Yeah.
Okay, that is the goal for
So
the
we
next 2
can
weeks.
have
To build something we can be proud of.
Yeah,
Right.
that we can do.
But
Yeah.
objectively, what is missing on the website?
I like the website.
Yeah,
That's
do-
good.
do we-
I like it.
You
Do we
like the
wanna go
website?
into
I
all
hate
the
the
detail?
I hate the whole
Everything
thing.
is missing on the
I hate the
website.
whole thing.
but like,
Too much text. There is that
It's-
first picture.
I mean, there's no
I mean,
explanation.
Yeah, that first picture is just confusing. You go on there and you're like,
Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
bunch of dragon-headed things. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then you scroll through and you're just like too much text. Or
So what do you want
I mean,
to hear?
like,
Because you know exactly what we're also saying, and you know exactly why we want to change. So what do you want to
It's
hear?
got to be simple.
Well, if it's
Exactly.
if it is as much as scrapping what we have and building from
scratch.
zero,
Yeah,
from scratch, or if it's just we're missing distinct things
building from scratch.
that we can
Nope,
just
building from
add.
scratch.
We're gonna build anything.
Okay.
That has to
Yeah.
that has to at least have the scalability to have what we need.
Okay.
website's a blog post.
Another question. Since we have
Our
this
website is a
2 week
blog post.
2 week push, since we have this 2 week push, after this 2 week, the tab is updated. Someone is already using it or Burning Man. Do we already have on the current website what there has to be to describe and help people to use our tab?
That's the documentation, right? So
No,
I guess we can-
but sure. But it sort of needs to be on the
documentation for DAP.
Because, I mean, if we right now start redesigning the website, and in the meantime someone starts using whatever we have, like, they will have to use that with our current website. And the question is, does the current website contain everything they need to use our?
No,
Our
so
We're not
the
gonna put
DAP,
anything on the corner.
the DAP is even though
Okay, then
it's
it's-
technically the same page. There's the website and the DAP. They're totally separate.
But the current website is not gonna cater to the current app so that we can change, so that we can explain. No.
No,
We're gonna start a new website, and that's what we're gonna focus on.
I think that maybe this website should be like replacing website,
Replace,
right? And then replacing DAP is also on the agenda. Okay, can we get replacing DAP? But I think replacing DAP is probably like over here, unfortunately. But we'll see. Because I think that we can use this DAP for projects and make it usable for projects and make small improvements occasionally, maintenance around like, maybe 3 to 5 hours a week of maintenance on the staff, which I know is annoying, but it lets us continue to run our organization and maybe onboard a couple other little projects for our organization. And maintain the transparency that I require to feel good about, to feel proud of this project. So I need people to be able to go and see what we're spending our money on, otherwise we feel completely hypocritical. So that's just like maybe I'm wrong there, but it's just the way it is. So I want to add. Do we have the money strategy on it? Financial incentives, okay. What, I assume we need a full smart contract design somewhere on this thing, right? No?
It's gonna be white paper. What we want to put in the white paper, of course.
Yeah.
We will need to divide that. We'll see. It's going to be a smart contract. It's going to be a UI. It's going to be a kind of backend. It's going to be the testing. It's going to be a kind of documentation, the integration.
Yeah.
It's going to be a set of pieces there.
Yeah.
But the first step is just okay. We want to build this. We more or less know.
The specification too.
Yeah.
Okay.
The blueprints, man.
You cannot
Without
solve-
blueprints, we cannot do anything.
I think a smart contract, okay? Because I'm a smart contract guy and I like to do it, but I shouldn't have done that.
Let's do flesh out pink paper.
I did already a smart contract on that. It's more, it's the way that I have to think. Okay, I'm a developer, and my way to think is writing a smart contract.
Unfortunately, I'm with you on that. That's the way I think. That's why I'm excited.
But it's an accident, okay? It's not the normal way to do it. It's
I mean, it's the same as building a server first.
What is flesh out?
Flesh out means if we have the bones
I know
right
that.
here, and then we
I
have
assume
flesh.
that I will have to rewrite it.
Yeah.
It has been
I already put
for
a
thinking
on that.
Yeah.
how it's going to work.
Never starting wall of
It's just the best tool that I have to design, not to implement.
Just want to refresh it.
What were you trying to do?
I was just gonna go to the previous one. Yeah. They are
Now the arrows will change it.
okay.
Okay, so flesh out pink paper, replace DAP. Is there anything else that you guys want to put on this roadmap that we can start thinking about? In general, anywhere, like deliverables for DevCon 30. Okay, so deliverables for this, I want to say have a full-time team. Have hired full-time team. Full-time team solid.
Is that in hiring? I guess it's in
Hiring, but then they're solid.
Yeah.
And
So this is so it's all these things are for the end of the period.
well, yeah, exactly. These are kind of the deliverables by August 10th, deliverables in the next 2 weeks. You know,
Then
yeah, and you know maybe like some of these are going to be kind of like this.
August 10th. So the last column is from August 10th to
June 23rd to August 10th, and then no, there's a gap here.
yeah. So
Now, of course, I'm excited if we have a full-time team. This gap doesn't have to be there.
but also the gap should not be there because
yeah, no gap.
it doesn't mean that we stop working because you're in Burning Man.
Yeah, no,
So,
absolutely.
no, there is no
I
gap.
hope
Yeah.
not.
There is no gap.
Except there's me and Burning Man, there's Jordy and Burning Man, there's OJ and Burning Man.
Yeah, but doesn't mean that we're not working on it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not in Burning Man,
It's
so
still code.
Okay,
It's
so
still
this
dusty.
is August 10th.
why do we put August in there?
Because I think for me is maybe there's a gap and I'm gone and there's a project lead from
So I put that
August
you
10th.
are unavailable in this time.
Yeah.
There.
That's
But
okay.
But
Like
this
me,
is-
I think
I'm gonna make a push to that date. I'm a pusher. Okay, I'm a pusher, man. And I'm gonna make a push to that date.
yeah, but there are two different things. One thing, it's a roadmap. Another
Yeah.
thing, it's a milestones.
Yeah.
So if there's a milestone that you want to some task be finished.
Well, we have to.
But it's not exactly a roadmap.
We
So just I just split things this way. So if you do you want a commitment about about for Burning Man? We have
well the
So
You
to
said something,
me,
it's
in this medium thing, you have two important dates: August 10 and November 1st.
yeah.
That's to me is the medium term. And the 2 weeks is the short.
I honestly don't want to even talk about long term. Long term is ending world hunger and poverty. Like
It's not long term.
No.
Oh, long term.
No,
long term to me,
is after November
long
1st.
term is November 1st.
Yeah, that's what I agree. Long term has to be DevCon.
Yeah, there is no long term past that. We will learn so much that anything we put in that column is a waste of time. Like it's not useful. We're in a different industry.
I mean, not useful
Like-
for just one conversation. It's very useful, I think, for another conversation. But-
yeah.
I mean, what's the
Like,
price? What's
yeah.
the price of ether?
Yeah, for vision,
on DevCon?
it should be done, but not how it is.
Yeah, like who knows? 100, right? Like there's too many variables in this world to even for that to be worth. Definitely not worth this hour for sure. And honestly, I don't think it's worth planning for. Who would have thought that we'd have this team here in Berlin last week?
Well,
Did we have it
we thought we were
organized?
gonna have a Berlin team in
Oh,
Barcelona.
Yeah, maybe Barcelona. Maybe we didn't know a week. I mean, like we're just this is a different world than your normal corporate business model, and we have to remember that, guys. Like this is anarchistic. Like we're creating DAOs, decentralized autonomous organizations. I'm happy to have planning, but we're in like a frontier industry, and trying to make a year-long plan is a different
Yeah.
thing.
Well, I see that about project management, not industry.
Yeah.
Or open source or other things. But
I think that, for example, stuff that will be in this, what I call here the longer term, will be like reputation systems and things like that that we know that we need to go into.
Yeah, and we will.
These chats, these interfaces with other applications, I figured that will fall into that column. It doesn't mean that it disappears, but it would be like on the map.
Yeah, I
That's
guess
what I wanted to.
I think that's fair. It's like there's
on
just
the map.
after.
That's why it's called a roadmap. So it's
I'll call it
somewhere.
after DevCon, because maybe smart contracts testing goes over here because we decide that we're not. Okay, so what else do we need, guys? What else needs to be there before DevCon?
So when you mean external teams projects, that means like charities using our pilots.
Mm-hmm.
External.
And these are all, a lot of them are going to be like that. Like, I assume this is going to be like that. So get started.
I want to have like a couple of charities already on the system when we actually go to that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. What else, guys?
That's a lot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So I see.
I want one more minute of awkward silence.
I think that it would be great to just to make some kind of presentation in the DevCon also. I think it will be there also.
Presentation.
Presentation.
Oh, you
Presentation slide. Presentation
Yes.
for the.
Presentation slide on which an extra things it's replacing the app. Like it's not. It's just.
The presentation for me is, I would say, maybe in DevCon is a presentation, but in DevCon or out of DevCon it should be a launch, official launch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
launch.
But the truth is that I have no idea how this launch should be.
I mean, launch might
a
be.
launch strategy could be
We
just
might
to
do-
have that already planned. But
I mean, I kind of launched, or because honestly, DevCon is always a great place to launch.
Yeah, but the launch strategy, one thing is the launch, but the launch
just to plan it.
strategy is
He
something
wants
that we
to know that
should
there's
start
going to be a
thinking of.
document that will be
Yeah,
planning, but that should be in the before the so that we can start executing that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Is there? Barry, is there anything that you think we need to throw into our next?
I think that we should outsource the website to external companies.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good idea to do that documentation. I think it's too soon. I think we should do that after the white paper.
Okay, well let's. So what about any stickies to add?
No, I can't do it.
Wojtek, do you have any stickies to add? Kai?
Not right now.
Just looking at how we need to do a beautification. We just add beautification.
Beautification of what?
Everything. I guess it's kind of branding.
Yeah,
That is branding.
it's branding.
I wrote it, but I don't like it.
I looked at Kai and I thought it was beautiful, so I'll just put it on the full page. Kai, do you have anything?
You just asked me.
I thought it might change.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Because it just got never mentioned. I think the launch is a full scale launch, right? Like mainnet launch.
We're on mainnet already.
That's what I wanted to ask. So we never. Okay, I thought so.
Yeah.
But it's many people go to testnet first. That's why I asked.
I think we should have also a video on our website explaining Giveth.
Video.
Yes, I mean that will be a thing.
Communication
Like
strategy.
Yeah, that's
we
the
will have
communication
interview
strategy,
sessions. That's the.
Like that would be
Can
for
we get
DevCon, we
video
need to
then
have
I'll
that
just put
video
it
on
on
our
our
website.
communication
Yeah,
strategy.
that's not a problem.
Perfect.
Yeah. We live in a video world.
Absolutely. And I am a video girl. Who else? Grace. Is there anything that we're missing?
No, I think I've been giving already the input, so I think we're good.
Jordy?
So my mind thinks in the lower way in general, but anyway.
Okay. OJ? Adria?
Sorry.
It's okay.
Actually,
Anything we need left on this roadmap?
No.
Chris?
can I, so on the smart contract part,
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to write smart contract. Somewhere in there, can't find it. Anyway, the smart contract testing.
Yeah.
Is that something that you want different things to happen in various?
There it is.
Smart contract testing. Is there something that you want right now, or kind of like can we divide?
Well, now we're going to
Or-
now we're going to make a hierarchical, like some things depend on other things. What has to happen first? Moving things around. Unless anyone, Barry specifically, if anyone has any more things to add.
Do you have here a poster that says smart contract, or a poster that says smart contract testing?
Testing.
So this testing.
But it's putting a smart contract testing here. I don't know why don't you put UI testing too? It makes no sense. It's a very very low level action.
To me, smart contract testing means paying a fuck ton of money to an external party.
To me,
That's
it's
why-
a kind
where
of
it's
a
a
smart
footing,
contract,
it's a
and
footing-
it just needs
footing
to have
action.
some testing.
Whereas UI testing is a little bit less. I'm not going to go Peter Vicenis, okay? If we're gonna have this launch replacing our DApp and DevCon onboarding external projects might depend on this, right? Or maybe
I'm missing
a
something.
full-on launch might depend on a full-on audit of
It's
our
giving
shit.
me-
When
I'm
you
missing-
say testing, you mean audit.
Audit, yeah.
Audit.
So
Okay.
what audit?
Audit.
Testing
Okay.
is
Audit.
testing.
Yeah, it's true. It's an audit. But you know what I'm missing there?
Hmm.
UI design.
Okay. Oh yeah. Yeah, because we need.
It's not there.
Can we write UI like 5 times?
Yeah, exactly. So it's like UI, kind of concept, design, execution as well. I don't know.
Well, that depends on the white paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's leave it like.
No, but you cannot depend on the white paper. This is not a. Let me wait what the white paper says so that I can start working on it. I think this is something that needs to.
I think that we.
This
need-
is something that needs to fit into the white paper,
I think we need
not that the
that.
white paper decides.
I think we need the outline of the white paper, and then they can fill in the UI design into the white paper.
Well,
This
I mean,
outline.
for me, the white paper explains what we want to achieve.
Yes, and so when you're doing a UI design, that's in the white paper. But I do feel like we need, the pink paper needs to be there and outlined with we're talking table of contents outline with maybe like 3 deep at most. And then when
It's
you're
an
doing the
element.
design,
Yeah, it's an
it
element.
just happened. You just do your design in the pink paper, and everyone can see it. And it's kind of our internal documentation at this time. At least this is what Colony is doing. And I'll tell you, their documentation is incredible because they write stuff on Slack, but they also just start adding stuff in the pink paper, in their white paper. And it's like, okay, you want to design the UI? Yeah, here's the outline. Here's your place.
I don't know if Corley is a good example.
No, they have too much documentation, but we're on the other. We're more on the Mu side of the spectrum, so having some balance towards that is. But I think that in general, our biggest focus on all of this needs to be UI. But then we'll talk about that once we get. I think we need 5 minutes just to arrange these, and then we can. And then we can go towards human resources because we only have so much time left. Oh, okay. We got time. Okay, so what should not be in this 2 weeks? And what over here should be in this 2 weeks? Anybody got something that fits that?
So I was wondering.
Yeah.
If you look at this here,
I think it's overlapping, right? The beautification.
so if we I don't know whether it would help because the posters are all already here. If it will help just to put this thing here.
Maybe, but I want to keep it on this because this is very more active. So we have solidify branding and then like putting branding everywhere, making our website beautiful. Kind of like, because like we're talking with Caleb about doing a new icon completely, and we're playing a lot with our actual icon and branding colors. So I think we need to have that solid in the next 2 weeks. Replacing website, I think is kind of like this. Maybe it's a month-long task. Yeah. Deliverables is kind of making this. And I think that needs to happen like more like this. Right?
Yeah. The deliverables is the white paper, I don't know, or
Outline will be a deliverable.
pink paper.
Pink paper.
It's a white paper also.
Well, we only have a pink paper. I mean, I would love a green paper, but maybe it's a little ego, too much. So
No, yeah.
rainbow paper, it's pretty cool. We can debate the color. I like pink too. There's not a pink.
Do you think that
Periwinkle?
it makes sense about creating the pink paper and the user interface design at the same time?
Yeah.
Or maybe we wait to have the pink paper and then write the new design.
I like to think, for me, but this is very personal and which one works. But for me, I think I like to start from the UI because you're starting from the user. And imagine what the user is going to see is a good way to complete. But there are different techniques here.
So it's like a part of the
Yeah,
specification.
I mean that's how you do it. Like right now in any company, what you do is you start with pen and paper and you start drawing screens. That's your starting point to any project.
Yeah. So,
But you need to know what you are building already.
yeah.
Which we don't.
So it's
Well, arguably we don't.
Patch 22 there. So maybe you use the user interface design. Maybe I think will be the next 2 weeks. So it's part of the specification.
I think just the
Then-
prototyping of the user interface is at least month long job, maybe 2 months.
I see. No, I want to
Just
think
iterating over until we find, oh, this is the exact.
Can you say prototyping UI design?
No, I think on the wireframes only like in a paper.
But
So it's a raw design.
it's a good, knowing what you really want to do. When you are able to design the wireframes. When you are doing the wireframes,
Yeah.
you need to know what you want to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's good to have an interaction because you may think that you know exactly what you want to do, but when you start writing the white paper, you see that maybe you are not know exactly.
Yeah.
And in the other side, so for me it's an interaction. It should be like go forward.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
like
So for me, so white paper and the basic wireframes of the screens are the both things.
for me
At the same
that's the
thing.
more urgent thing.
I believe.
So, yeah, I think how it should work is we do the 5 most important screens that come to our minds.
Okay.
You
Nice.
say, okay, I'm a donor. What do I need to see? I'm a person who's a campaign manager. What do I need to see?
Yeah.
Okay, you do that, and you start. Then you put it into some interactive code. So what I did right now is I've updated the DAP dependencies, thinking maybe what I can do is I can create another branch in the existing DAP and just upgrade the DAP, like prototype in the DAP, but without smart contracts. Okay, so I can already start. So what I have right now, I declare.
Yeah.
All the components and everything I already have.
Your
I
comfort level.
I just don't use the smart contract with them, but I have the components. And I just put the candy. I just put it everything like organize it. And you basically build the 5 screens. And then you try it.
Yeah.
Does it work with the 5 screens we've drawn?
Here is how deep you go. There is how deep you go with this prototype. You can just wire that, just sketch up in paper, and maybe it's enough. Or maybe you need to do a real prototype, or sometimes you need to
I
go
tell
deeper.
you need a real prototype.
Well, depending on the application, depending on many things. But the thing is that
why not?
what did you want to go? Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, you need to start on that, and when you start seeing the screens, you start to see things, and you see if it's going to work or not. And this is a process.
The main thing
interview.
is, I think it's this starting white paper that we need to
5
do.
minutes of a good interview.
It just unlocks a lot of work that could be done like that.
Kind of get it.
So I think it's how to solve this part quickly. I think if you're confident about doing quick prototyping with the screens, it's okay. The main thing is if we in these 2
To be
weeks
honest,
we can
the current app without binding to smart contracts and everything is 4-hour job. It's the current app we have.
Okay.
It's for
4 hours job. The current app. If you don't if you don't call the smart contracts below it, if you just do the screen how it looks in HTML and everything, it's 4 hours.
4 hours. So okay.
Okay. If anything on top of that, 3 we can't. 3 we can't. And you have a clickable thing. You have screens.
And you can
That
test
are
whether
dynamic.
it works or not.
Okay, I want to move back to this guy.
Just a thing. This is the kind of discussion
That has to happen.
I need to have
For sure.
with the group. So all the things, it's okay. But for me, this is the most important thing.
Absolutely.
So I'm sorry.
No.
How in the next 2 weeks are going to organize
Yeah.
to write the white paper? That is the thing that I need
Yeah.
to work the next 4 months.
Absolutely.
So
And
we
that's-
need some space also to
And there,
develop an area to.
But there
talk
might
about
be
things.
6 other things that are on that same list
Yeah,
for other
great.
people, right?
Seriously, this is what we are discussing right our 3.
Yeah.
This is main for us.
I know, and I let it go on for 3 minutes, 4 minutes in the middle of this, and it will continue.
Okay.
But let's
Yeah.
just finish the task that we have, and then we'll go back to it really quick. Like I think we can finish it, but there's 2 really important things that I need to have discussion while Agnes is here, and I need it really badly. And if you guys have to go to the airport, that's cool. We can do this, but okay. So we have I think that role design, financial incentive strategy, deliverables, and deliverables are something we need to leave here today with. Right?
Not role design.
Role design? No?
Do that after that.
Well, I guess when I think of role design, I think that role design, actually the prototype and UI design is dependent on role design. And I think the pink paper outline is not. Okay, yeah, role design can kind of go right there after we leave. I think we have a good start on it, but we can leave it. So financial incentives and deliverables for these 2 things, I want to leave here with. Is that cool? Yeah? Okay. And then in the next 2 weeks, we have DAP short-term fixes, like a 1-day job for a full-time person. Hiring people, at least starting to hire people, like getting that figured out. That's cool. In the next 2 weeks, like starting this, maybe this is like kind of like.
No, I think it needs to be the 2 or 3.
Yeah. I mean,
It needs to be that and started now.
I like. Okay, cool. And then communication strategy. Starting on that in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Role design and replacing website. Solidifying branding. And pink paper. So these are the only things we're doing in the next 2 weeks. Huh? Okay. then kind of maybe crossing these 2 weeks, prototyping UI design. Maybe this is dependent on role design, right? So, how do you feel about that way,
Pink paper.
Pink paper is already in this next 2 weeks. Outlining. But I want a full outline. I really think that we need to see. You don't like that, Jordy?
Yeah.
We are defining the product, okay? We need to do these screens, we need to see this UI, we need to see how the things is gonna work, we need to imagine, okay? If we want to create this product, we need to imagine in our head how this project is gonna work.
But
Okay? And this is a process.
But is
It's
that
It's an
somewhat?
interactive process, it's not one thing after the other. It's
So that's why I want to start with the outline, so everyone can interact with the pink paper in their designated area, right? Like,
No, I think we need to make a small group and thinking about it, but not everything. Putting the idea on that. So make a group. Whatever.
It can
the
be
group.
divided into.
Yeah, we
some
need to
groups.
divide.
Yes,
You
so
can't.
maybe
You
we-
have to have a single vision. You can't have a committee to design something like this. It has to be like 1 or 2 people who just
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
this is
Yeah.
how it works.
Yeah.
So
And I like sitting around and having a meeting about it. It's just,
Yeah.
it's just
a waste
so-
of time.
We'd have to have a meeting for 2 years,
Yeah,
and it would be terrible. It'd be a
Yeah.
disaster.
yeah, couldn't agree more. So, do you guys do you know what outline? Do you know what I mean by outline? Does that make sense? The word outline?
Yes.
No, I don't think it makes sense.
I don't understand the word, but it's a language problem.
So yeah, exactly. That's what I'm detecting. So an outline is like, okay, so we have you know what a table of contents is?
El contenido.
Okay.
Contenido,
So-
pero con todo, con
Okay,
exactamente lo que tiene
data,
que.
put down line.
Exacto.
So in the next 2 weeks, I want to have a document. This would be a deliverable. I want to have a document that has a table of contents, and it says
Okay.
UI design and some pieces of the UI design, the smart contract design and some pieces of the smart contract design with no information, just like headings, right? And then role design, communication strategy, our current DAP and transitioning to a new
No,
DAP. And
headings, no, the content.
no content at first.
No, the content. We need the content.
We can't do the content in 2 weeks though. That would be like this getting the outline first and then fleshing it out. So fleshing it out is like you have the bones and you add flesh to it. So I want to start.
2 weeks to write the headers.
No.
So in
Maybe
2 weeks we can add the.
This is deliverable that it's like the headers are done in 2 weeks. They could be done in a day, maybe 2 days.
It can grow, right? It can be like an open document or
Yeah, of course.
the outline at least. Yeah.
Yeah, the
Should be
outline.
probably.
The outline is just starting it, but we're not going to finish it for a month or 2, right?
Yeah, but you can't have a group of people who can contribute to the design.
Well, one person's going to have UI, and another person's going to have communication strategy. Another
Okay,
person's
so
going to have.
communication strategy doesn't belong in the pink paper.
No, it doesn't.
Okay. Well,
The UI is dependent upon the smart contracts.
Or the other way around.
yeah,
And the UI doesn't belong in the white paper either.
I think.
So
well,
we need some
That's-
internal.
This
That
debate
needs to
is
be on
this
the
debate right here is exactly why we need to have an outline, right?
No.
No.
If we have
No?
an outline, the overhead of communicating the outline will just make the process so inefficient that it'll never get done. You can't have an outline. It has to be 2 or 3 people and the more people you add to it, it takes twice as long.
Okay.
Sounds good. 2 people wrote the American Constitution and 1 will watch the very first day.
I like that one.
Okay.
So Griff, so in a developer's way, yeah, we need a white paper and a kind of a paper with some graphical design there.
Okay.
Yeah, and we need that.
Yeah.
So it's a pink paper outline. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know these terms. Yeah, I know this concept because I worked with it for a long time.
Yeah.
So I think everybody more agrees. So I think it's what we need in 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. So
But
I don't know if
the
you
whole
want
thing-
to put other things. It's okay. But for us, I think it's okay.
So we need the
One we
whole
need.
pink paper, pretty much at least the first draft of the pink
At
paper.
least we need to start working in the functional design.
Okay, so like,
Yeah.
And
and,
this is-
and that's what we just started this weekend, right? Like with or at least we walked through it.
We start
discussing it.
Start thinking, start aligning more or less what we're going to do. Okay, but
Yeah.
we need to get more concrete, more deep.
Yeah.
Start writing screens, see if that matches with the smart contracts. So
Yeah.
it's not a problem of writing one thing first and the other. It's just doing. It's
So,
just we're going to do this and it's going to be
so when you guys are starting to write a program for like Adobe, somebody's like, hey, let's build Photoshop.
Specification.
Yeah, there's the first thing is specification.
Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it is.
Or
Look,
their screens.
It depends on who you are. Okay, the way that I do it is I write the smart contracts and then I write user interface. And that's
Yeah.
because I just work by myself.
Yeah,
But if you have a team, you have to do things differently.
yeah,
And all four of us do things differently.
yeah,
So that makes it really difficult to have this conversation because Wojciech wants to do it his way, and Adrian wants to do it his way, and I want to do it my way.
yeah,
And talking about this and saying, okay, you have to do the white paper first doesn't suit Jordy because Jordy likes to do the contracts first and test them. And that's the way that I like to do it as well because you think about it more deeply when you do the contracts.
yeah,
I'm writing white paper, I'm afraid that we'll write the white paper, and then we'll start writing the contracts, we'll change the contracts, we'll have to rewrite the white paper. We'll
yeah,
have to do that 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
And every time we do it, someone else will come on and they'll change the white paper.
yeah.
And that's why I don't
I
want to
mean,
do that.
and that's honestly why I'm really worried about fleshing out the white paper until we do hiring, because guess what? I think Jordy is kind of full-time, I'm definitely full-time, and that's it. OJ's Oz is probably full-time, and that's it. So, you know, you guys can all shut up. No, I'm just kidding. No, but like, I agree we need this, and we need this because we have a lot of part-time people, and we don't have a good communication strategy when you only, there's too much time wasted in communication when you have, 10 hours to 20 hours a week to work on this.
Okay, so I think that only the full-time people should be involved in writing white paper. Yeah, with some guidance. And secondly, I think that it might be more efficient if we outsource the design and user interface to another company.
Yeah.
You just say, this is it, we want it to look good.
The website for sure.
The website
For sure.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
I mean, I'm down to throw down on the website. I'm down to throw down.
I don't know, guys, because I think, and this is what happens already, we outsource it not to a company but to an individual, right? And it has been written in some sense. And now, since we're dynamic, we want to change it again. And basically what we're going to do, we're going to throw it away and start again.
Yeah.
It will happen again.
Yeah,
Like, if we outsource the website right now,
They'll do a bad job.
we throw it again.
Yeah.
That's true.
Well, it depends on if we outsource it to some random guy we find on Ethlands, or if we outsource it to, a real company. No, you don't think so?
We gotta send us the first draft ourselves, and then maybe you could outsource it this version 2 later after you.
Yes.
So we create the screens and then we outsource.
No, you do the first draft.
First version 1, or whatever we want to call the first version, that's gotta be in-house. And then you can talk about piecemealing it out or having other people redo it.
I mean, creating the website is not that time-consuming, like programming it.
Yeah.
The problem is putting in the content and thinking what the content should be. That's the time.
But this we can easily mock up.
But this is something we have to do anyways. So if we contract another company to do our website, and our website is not, like, there's no payment, there's nothing. Like, it's really just a PDF
Yeah.
in the end.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And that's super easy and super fast to just program. Like, we don't need any functionality there. It's a document.
Yeah.
And the difficult part about the website is the content, which no external company can do for us anyways, right?
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure we don't even want that much content on our website.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's not only that. I mean, how do you present it? There's 1,000 ways, and I think the best way is like to just, not like probably not in this size, but having discussions like this and sending around.
I mean, there are templates.
I have to
as well.
end this. I have to end
So, I
this
mean,
discussion.
Yeah.
We didn't do it.
Maybe
We didn't
we
do
can
the
do it
roadmap.
one
and that's
day and
okay.
have
I don't think it makes sense to
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, this really sucks, guys.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to pause this and go on to the next topics. Adria, because you have.
No. I need to go to the toilet.
Okay.
Whoa. Oh. No. Yes.
Oh, sorry. That's okay. I think it's okay. Okay.
I have a feeling that the roadmap needs to be done by one person. But this was a good brainstorm. But finalizing the roadmap has to, it's not a debatable.
It's a lot of everything.
Yeah.
It's divided into what's
But that's it.
Well, you first design it and then you think, oh, can I actually do it? If not, I adjust it.
You take the call. But anyway, yeah.
Okay, so I want to take a straw poll. How many full-time developers should we have?
I think that this would be OJ should just decide this.
Well, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I'm curious to hear a straw poll. No.
Yeah, I really hate that. Like, it's just such a waste of time. Everyone's like, oh, I think we need 12.
I think that it would be done by the time you finish your conversation. So, Grace, how many people do you think we should have full-time devs? Devs, just devs.
Yeah.
Developers.
Which profiles?
Okay,
Well,
Jordy,
but
how
what-
many do you think?
3.
Okay, Grace says 3.
It's three developers.
Full-time for DevCon, by DevCon, like from now to DevCon.
From 3 to 5.
3 to 5, okay. And Wojtek?
2, 3.
OJ?
Gut check 3.
Come on. 1. Barry? Sorry. 1, I like it. Jenny? Same. Griff says 3. 0. Jenny says 0.
I think 2 with at least 1 year of experience.
Okay, yeah, these are full-time talented devs.
Experience.
Full-time
They have to be
talented
experienced.
devs.
Yeah. If
Okay.
we need to explain everything,
You said 3?
we're fine.
We said 2.
And Kai?
I don't know, but 2 to 3 seems to be the number.
Okay.
Like I said,
Okay. So yeah, 3 looks pretty good, and in the end, like Barry said, OJ decides. Okay, so that's cool. So now, what skills do these 3 devs need?
Smart configure.
Web,
Yeah, React. Sounds like it's React, right?
React,
React web skills.
Yeah.
expert.
Yeah.
Jordy's not going to do the smart contract backend use.
Shorty, can you be full-time on this? I don't want to commit you, man.
I will be more for the smart contracts. I will.
Yeah, but we should have someone.
Well, here is a figure that, of course, all of 3 should know React. Okay, know React, and the main work is going to be in the front. Well, it's all the work because in the distributed application everything is front. Okay, there is one part, and all of it needs to be multi. But okay, with smart
So
contracts.
should they all be full stack?
Yeah.
Full stack.
All of them full stack?
What does that even mean? with
At
smart
least
contracts?
2 out of the
Basically
3.
saying,
Not smart contracts.
all React people that know some API stuff.
So it's
Well,
React.
I think 2 out of the 3.
It's just React.
It's like
It
Just
doesn't
React.
have to be full stack.
So we don't need full
Yeah,
stack.
but if they have done
Full
React,
stack.
they don't know JavaScript, and they need to understand at least how the blockchain works. So
It's like a-
for me, it's like
I think 2 out of the 3
study
should be
whatever you
full
want.
stack.
I
Your
know
profile
you
is
know full
okay.
stack.
What they know how
Are
to
you a
integrate
Solidity
Yeah.
expert?
Yeah.
There is there's not just backend.
Enough.
They understand the context.
Yeah.
They understand how it connects with everything
Is it?
else around
You
it.
are full
Well,
stack.
Jordy,
Yeah.
Jordy, are you full stack?
I'm a full stack.
Okay. Wojtek, are you full stack?
Shorty says potentially.
Yes.
Okay. Barry, are you full stack?
Yes, he is.
OJ, are you full stack?
I mean, in mid course.
Ajit, are you full stack?
No.
No.
Backend.
No.
Holy shit, that's awesome.
No.
Okay. Exception that proves the rule. Everyone's a full stack. This means nothing. Okay, done. Okay. What else do we need from these 3 devs? That's it. That's it.
Well, I mean,
IPFS and
you need for them the vision,
Yeah.
right?
No,
Like, you can get as many developers as you want, but that's it.
you were saying kind of nowhere IPFS.
Designer?
Designer slash.
I didn't include designer
But it
here.
depends on the architecture.
That's them, right? That's
It's for me the designer.
Designers
So
UI.
if you are 3, I put 3 to 5 if you include testing, specific testing guy and designer guy.
Okay, so designer, more partish.
If you consider designer
Personally,
a dev, then it's it would be 5.
I consider designer UX,
Okay.
or sorry, no, I guess designer is the beautifier.
How it works is
Yeah.
that right at the beginning, people who have the idea have to work like this, right?
Yeah.
Then the designer comes, it overlaps a little bit, goes up and it goes down, and it's almost nothing. And only after that the developers come. When you're building a front end, yes,
Like that.
yes.
So we need designers really bad, that's what you're saying.
But the designers don't need to be at the beginning. Instead of,
No, she's
they don't
saying,
need to be at the
The designer at the
beginning.
beginning, I agree. I'm sorry.
It needs to like overlap with the beginning. So after you start to have a clear idea, you already need a designer.
Designer helps flesh out the idea.
Yes.
okay, so we need the designer ASAP, it sounds like. Okay,
I thought
so,
always said was a designer.
yeah, but he's not full-time.
Oh, okay. Full-time designer.
Full-time designer. Okay, so we're gonna say OJ 3 + 1 designer. So designer is like our first hire next to my personal assistant. Okay, and then
One question, OJ is included in this number? In the 3?
Jason is not full-time.
OJ.
OJ is not.
So it's 3 plus the designer plus
Plus a manager.
plus a manager. Okay, so we are going to 5. Okay.
Okay. I mean, this is a big project. And I think, I mean, but it's also -1 because of you, Jordan. We're gonna throw you in on this mix. So if we find, you know, we need an awesome designer, and if we find 4 awesome devs, we're only gonna hire 3 of them. If we only find 2 awesome devs, then we're only gonna hire those 2. You know, that kind of thing. Like we need a high barrier, like quality.
Yeah, basically we're just gonna hire whatever we can get.
No way.
What?
I'm gonna for a designer we'll push, but for these full-time devs, man, I'm gonna be picky as fuck.
Yeah, but we're not gonna get anyone. Anyone who's a Solidity dev.
No, they're not Solidity devs. They're not Solidity devs. These are not Solidity devs. These are React
Anyway,
devs.
it's the same thing.
React devs.
It's the same thing.
I assume the solidity part. So if
Yeah.
people know it, better. But I assume the difficult part is the solidity part.
Yeah, I'm looking for devs, and I'm also looking for Barcelona. I want this team to be working with each other in the same place. At least this is something I'm proposing. What do you guys think? Should these full-time guys be working together in the same place?
At least the majority. It's, you know, because you're not going to get
Full-time
them all to be there.
Full-time shift.
It's a good thing. I'm used to it that way, but I'm open to if the people are outside.
Well, the nice thing about Barcelona is
Ah,
quality. 60K will get us the best fucking person in Barcelona. Period. Right? Is that true? 60K is 10K more than they would expect to be paid.
No, it's just developers there is from 30 to 40. So you pay 60 and you get whatever you want.
In Barcelona, yeah.
can I just add a garden to my office?
Yeah, I meant to have that. It's
Yeah.
funny.
Man, Barcelona is a good. Yeah, 60 Barcelona. Yeah.
Okay, so quality, one React expert, one designer. Do we need 2 React experts? We don't need 2 React experts, right? What's the other qualities that our other like that I see? What I'm seeing right now is we need 2 devs and a designer.
Solidity program would be nice.
Well, we have all the Solidity access because Solidity is a part-time job, honestly. We have Adria and Barry, man. They can test better than almost any group out there, and external audits are required.
Solidity is very close to JavaScript. Okay, Solidity the most work when you do a Solidity smart contract, you spend 1 day doing the Solidity smart contract, and you spend 1 month creating the tests that are done in JavaScript. Okay, that's the thing. And the idea is do everything in JavaScript, full stack JavaScript, because at the end it's no way. There is no backend.
So do we need a JavaScript
the backend really is in the front end. It's the access to the blockchain and all that stuff.
It depends on the design. If we have a registration page,
do we
have a backend?
Yeah,
No,
you-
if you have a full app, if you have a full app, other
But we
things
don't
that
know.
you do tricks.
But we don't know.
Well, full app is prohibited right now.
Okay, so
Full app is not going to work right now.
okay, do we need to? I want to go back to this because I just want to find the two people. So designer, I think that's a designer, right? And now we have these two other devs that we think we need. Maybe we only need one. Do we only need one dev?
One React.
One React guy, and that's it.
Yes, but you maybe need a backend in Hadoop or in whatever that will actually take the.
But that
data
sounds like
from-
something we can outsource pretty easily.
Well, you
Like
need to
if
build-
you do want to store everything and have a DApp,
Yeah. Right, this is where we get into
You
problems
already-
because we haven't
exactly.
planned out the design yet.
because we don't have the design.
So we have to know what the design is before we can decide.
The design is going to be push everything to Swarm. That's the end design.
Yeah, but that's
The end
that's not right now. What are we going to do in the meantime? We're going to use like Invest. We're
In
going to
in
set
six-
the database.
in
What are we
6
going to do about
months.
keys? What are we going to do about? Are we going to put it in list? Are we going to do it with new? How are we going to handle that? Are we going to do the light wallet? Like these are the things that we really need to talk
We're
about.
going to do MetaMask.
Well, and you have a lot of problems. You have a lot of
One
problems.
one good developer makes a lot of things.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of things. So maybe better one very good developer.
One
Employed
very good
and well
developer.
paid. I think it will be. It's not a very big application.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we need one React expert, one designer. Done. Well, wait.
Okay.
So so I agree with what you're saying, right? But I think it's a start version for the front end, right? It's like the person that can do the Hadoop, that can figure out, use whatever, can try IPFS, can try these different things out, do the little DevOps stuff. That's one really good developer, right? But we don't want to distract that person with the front end if it's another person that can just do React components, just that's the CSS, HTML, just that sort of stuff. Right? So I think it's a good separation of one solid person that can do anything, like he's just a great developer, and whatever we need, we can get from him, and probably a lot of DevOps sort of stuff. And one React person that just can live in React components world. And that person could be so much better if they have a designer on their side that's giving them the designs, making it look like this button looks like this. So you don't want your React person thinking about which color should this be.
So is this a system admin?
So there's three. There's DevOps. There's
DevOps is the
React.
Yeah.
And then there's design.
So we need a DevOps guy.
Yeah, but that's to be determined because we don't know what the
So this guy's last.
Well, he's the one that's in flux, but he has to be really good. Whatever he is. A really good developer is a good DevOps person. A really good DevOps person can develop.
Yeah.
So
Really strong
Yeah.
person.
The main thing is Jordi's DevOps. He's DevOps. But to be DevOps really and know what's happening on the mainnet, it's a really hard thing. So yeah, it's hard to know if something is being attacked or So being DevOps, it's maybe we don't need DevOps.
just Jordy is DevOps and
Just DevOps and maybe with Jordi it's enough.
I think,
but
I actually think
we
that's
were
true.
talking about different DevOps.
Now, what? Now,
DevOps is
Jason,
it's, you
you're a
know what
backend
they're
guy?
deploying and how the system works.
But what does what's
Sorry, DevOps.
backend?
Yeah. Okay.
Backend means everything, but not the front. And DevOps means specifically
Servers.
deploying stuff and chain plumbing. Means the plumbing of actual servers, the physical layer.
Infrastructure.
Okay, and Jordy, do you want to be a full-time DevOps guy? You don't want that, do you?
And like what I'm trying to do is trying to move all this stuff away from Jordy because
Exactly.
if Jordy gets hit by a car, we're fucked.
Well, give it dies. Okay, that's fine.
No,
That's serious, okay? Not serious.
Yeah.
Somebody should. I cannot assume that I'm the necessary person in this project and in any project. Okay?
Yeah.
But in this, for sure, not. So
Okay.
I should have a backup for sure.
And that's the positive about it.
Yeah.
Outsourcing all this stuff at an early stage, because otherwise Jordy just becomes the central figure, and then he's like the dictator of how everything works. And everything gets
No way, that don't works.
Okay, so we need a DevOps guy, but he's our last hire.
It depends. It depends
First is
who
the
you get,
designer.
who you can get them.
Yeah, of course we're gonna interview for all three.
All
at
of
the
them
same time.
ASAP.
So
All of
like
them
we
ASAP.
divide-
All of them ASAP.
I think all of them.
All of them ASAP. Okay. Designer
Because it will take you 2
is
months.
the most ASAP.
Exactly. It will take
Designer, we
a while
can
before
cut
we
a couple
actually-
corners and just get someone who's good and ready.
Mhm.
React expert, we need them ASAP, but it's more important that we have super high quality, right?
Yeah.
But there is one part that I'm worried that we have not talked, and it's about the architectural.
Yeah,
You're the architect.
we have
You're
that
the
whole other
architect.
weekend.
No, yeah, but it's more about. It's not about. It's more about. Maybe it's not architect. It's how do you organize the things? How the things are going to be connected
Yeah.
together? How the project is going to be organized?
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure. So it's like.
Can that be the DevOps guy?
It's
That
a kind
really
of.
needs to be defined for these people.
Yeah, it's a kind of ordering the project.
So is that OJ?
That could be
I think
OJ.
that I could handle it with just input from the people that know more than me.
Yeah.
And I could just, I can define the architecture off of Jordy
Yeah.
and Barry's advice, and
Yeah.
it's gonna be simple. It's gonna have a front end, it's gonna have a middle, it's gonna have a back end, it's gonna have the technologies to support that. We're gonna go with it for version 1, we'll see what needs to change after that. Problem with hiring an architect alone is that they're basically just designed to disagree with you.
Yeah.
No, but also it's a
The
coordinating point.
thing is, for example, in
It's
React part, the React part, I'm not a React expert. I know
Yeah.
something about
Yeah.
React, but I'm not a React expert. So how to design a good React architecture? You have different choices. You can do different ways, and not all of them works the best. So not all of them are okay. And
So I've done a little bit of React then. I think for what we hire a talented React guy now, some input from Vortex and input from me, keep it simple. We don't give them those simple as well things that we have right now. I don't mind keeping everything in its own little component file. We can, I don't do anything that is just too miraculous from the very beginning.
okay, for me, from this full project, probably from the internals, this Vortex, you probably know better than me, know React, so you have worked with this, but we have done a project, okay? We have not done a big projects, we have a lot of experience in the thing, so this is it.
And maybe
DevOps back here.
DevOps.
I have a React developer that we're training, which is awesome.
And we'll hire her. I'm just kidding. She's too expensive in LA.